when you deal with a failure, how do you react to it? What happens after that? ये आपने इतना सारा communication के बारे में बताया ना कि we should communicate with everyone, we should be open. So can you tell me something like how should we improve communication and why is it so much important for only communication? If I go and just do my work, for example, then why is it bad? So do you think the traditional data centers which are present will be replaced by virtual private network and all those things? What are the top skills which you think like if those skills are there in one, you will take him in your two?
One thing in me, my team is
You are in this storage business, edge cloud computing storage. So how do you deal with the cybersecurity stuff?
that has grown huge.
What do you think is the country which has the highest average work-life balance for tech employees in the last year? First option is Germany, second India, third Pakistan, and fourth Sri Lanka.
I would go with the
वो वाले इंटरव्यू में जब भी इंटरव्यू रूम में जस्ट अंदर गए एंड फॉर एग्जांपल लाइक 12th फेल मूवी, अगर वो बहुत ही सब बॉम्बार्ड कर रहे हैं क्वेश्चन से और आपको नर्वस कर रहे हैं, तो हमें एक चीज़ तो पता है, हमें शांत रहना है और आंसर करना है, पर एक्चुअली जो हमारे मन में चल रहा है कुछ और ही हो. सो व्हाट विल यू एडवाइस अस कि हमें हर एक सिचुएशन में इंटरव्यूज के लिए क्या करना चाहिए?
when you spend 100 rupees on a night in data center, what is the biggest cost?
Our today's guest, Deepak Puthran sir, is an industrial expert and has worked in Oracle, Hitachi, and now for 11 years, he is working in HP. Guys, I don't know whether this video will go viral, but one thing which I am assured of is the person who is going to watch the video is going to get practical value. While watching the video, take notes so that you can note all the important points. Also, at any point of the video, if you think that we are providing you practical value, then please subscribe to our channel. It gives us credibility and this helps us to bring industrial experts to our podcast. So now, let's start the podcast. नमस्ते दीपक सर, आपका
नमस्ते.
पॉडकास्ट में स्वागत है. इस पॉडकास्ट में हम ज़्यादा करके टेक्नोलॉजी के बारे में, जॉब मार्केट के बारे में और टेक्नोलॉजी के इस इंडस्ट्री में हमारी लाइफ कैसी होती है, इसके बारे में डिस्कस करेंगे.
Absolutely.
तो इस गेम को और भी इंटरेस्टिंग बनाने के लिए, थोड़ा सा फन एलिमेंट डालने के लिए हम एक गेम खेलने वाले. बेसिकली आपको 5 क्वेश्चंस पूछे जाएंगे. हर एक क्वेश्चन में आपको 4 ऑप्शंस दिए जाएंगे. आपके पास 1 मिनट है उसको करने के लिए और 2 लाइव्स भी है. अगर हम ये कर पाएंगे तो हम शो जीत जाएंगे. ठीक है?
Okay.
सो लेट्स स्टार्ट द गेम.
Absolutely.
So our first question is, which sector is expected to have the highest growth in 2025? Okay. Which sector is expected to have the highest growth in 2025? Option 1, artificial intelligence. Option 2, cybersecurity. Option 3, IoT, Internet of Things. And option 4, blockchain. What do you think?
I would go with the artificial intelligence.
Yeah, correct. That's the correct question. That's the correct option. So, Deepak sir, आपको क्या लगता है कि क्यों है? Why is AI booming?
No, see, first of all, AI is an absolute technology that is about 3 to 4 years old now. Now, I guess there's a maturity coming in. So the LLMs that are required for this is getting into the place. Earlier, we had only specific LLMs, a specific industry having it. But in next 2 years, I expect the LLMs to come in the local languages also. I think which is very important for the it to go ahead with. And I think the maturity of the organizations are coming in, because normally on the infrastructure side, we always talk about the NVIDIA. But I expect a lot of this AMDs and Intels and to some extent the Qualcomms to get into the chip business of the AI basically. So I think that's the major reason why I think the AIs will get into the main segment right now. Also, the second major reason would be the organization are now like the enterprises. If you see the major expenditure after the government is by the enterprises also will now get their act right in the sense that uh, they will try to understand where they want to go, where they want to invest, where they want to put their next 5, 7 years decisions of what kind of products they want, what kind of services they want to cover. I think the enterprises will get into those kind of business, which was not there for last few years. Few companies did. Few companies did just an whitewashing that we have the equipments, we have the structure in place. But I think the maturity should happen in next 2 years. It's already there, but I think in next 2 years the maturity will be very high on AI. Specifically the use cases. I mean to say the use cases. We don't have too many use cases right now. So as the UK use cases starts getting built up, I think the maturity coming up.
Okay. So, sir, how are you using it? Like, uh, HP, how are you using it to make, like your products better or to make everything better?
There are two things to it. One is how I, as HP as an organization, is designing the equipments or the products or the softwares to meet this requirement is what I normally is my organization does it. I won't really get deep into that, but yes, we have a lot of hardware equipments. We are now getting into a lot of software business, which will help the businesses and also to large extent create use cases, create off the shelf equipments to help the companies to come to that decision of which product or which services to invest in. We'll get into that. And the second part is how I use it to make my products better. So typically when we did this journey about 4 years back, but today most of my HP products don't really you need to get an raise a service request. The product is smart enough to understand that yes, there is a problem with the one of the services. It will self create the service request and send it to the engineering labs. We are coming out of this L1 L2 engineers. We are directly raising a case to the engineers. That's one part of it. It will resolve the issue and let you know that this is what has been done. So we already come to that level. So I think there are two aspects how HP is preparing the equipment or infrastructure or the software to help this AI industry. And the second is how I use it myself, basically. Second, most of my data that I get today as a sales guy, I'm a sales guy. Finally, what I do is sales, basically. So we have a lot of these reports getting into the segment saying that what has changed in last 3 to 6 months, what has the the organization spent on a particular segment. We do a lot of data coming in, a lot of authenticated and data which is verified coming into me. So that makes my decision into sales very easy with. So I can take a decision based on proper data. So that's how we are doing it. It's a multifold approach that the HP has.
So, do you think the recruitment is also affected by this? Like, this is my second question.
See, no, recruitment will depend on the skill sets that you have. If you have the right skill set, I think you have a job in place. I think that would be the story of each and every person for next 10, 15 years. If you have the right skills, I think you will have a job. If you don't have a right skill, I think jobs will be difficult to come. I think this is pertinent to any industry. And even in AI industry, if you have the right skills, I don't think you will need to really work too much for the job. It will be searching for you if you are the right fit.
तो आपके हिसाब से लोग लॉस नहीं करेंगे, मतलब अपना जॉब लूज नहीं करेंगे?
Uh, no, I see. If you see the journey of any IT person for last 20 years, every IT person or every person into the technological space needs to upskill himself. I mean, you cannot have a skill and for 5 years you will have a skill, but the industry will change in next 5 years. You need to upskill yourself. And IT is an industry where you need to keep learning every week, every month, every year. So you will need to upskill yourself. If you are doing a mundane job, which can be repeatable, you will lose the job because the automation will come there. It's a normal fact of us. If there is a repeatable job that you're doing, it will be replaced for sure. But I think the kind of skill levels that we have, Indians have, I think we have this habit of upskilling ourselves. We should we should upskill ourselves, and we are doing it. That's the reason you will find that we don't have too many layoffs happening in India right now, because we have done very smart things in the sense that we have taken recruitment step by step. We have not gone with the trend. We have taken people when it is required, and we have taken people who are skilled in the professionalism. So I don't think that would be a major problem for a person who is skilled enough to get a job.
Okay, nice. So our second question, let's move towards the second question of our
Yeah.
question is, what is the projected global cloud computing market size by the
Yeah.
end of 2025?
Yeah.
So the first option is $600 billion, second, $400 billion, third, $1 trillion, fourth, $3.2 trillion.
I will go with $3.2 trillion.
Unfortunately, sir, no, unfortunately, according to IDC projects, it is wrong. Yeah,
Yeah.
all right. So basically, the correct answer is third one. For
The one
three
one
$1.
will one.
But just it's a project.
I understand the cloud computing. See, but I'm saying again, it says that a lot of people went on the cloud for last 10 years, found that it was not a very cheap option. So there is a segment in which we are getting this repatriation happening on the cloud. So typically, you will see a lot of people moving into cloud, but you will see a lot of people getting into the cloud with more uh, specific applications, not all the applications or all the workloads. So I think that's where the numbers will come into this. 1 trillion also is a large number that will happen.
तो मतलब आप कैसे यूज करते हैं आ, क्या आप भी ये सब यूज करते हैं और AWS बहुत सुना है सो
Yes.
हाउ इज इट यूज्ड बाय यू गाइस
See, AWS, I compete with them. It's my competition for HP. So we have the three cloud, we have the Microsoft, we have Google, and we have the Azure. We as an organization are trying to be the fourth cloud. HP wants to be the fourth cloud in the industry. So we compete. But yes, we use cloud a large way. Like today, most of my documentation are on OneDrive. I normally don't need a specific laptop or anything. So this is my personal iPad. I have my office documents on this. I can have my laptop on which all my OneDrive is there. So I think that's a practical use of it as a thing. Your phone, if you carry a phone, I think most of your data is on a cloud. Most of your photos and mails will be on a cloud. So I think today cloud as a specific application, you can use it in each and every place. I don't see any reason where there is no role in what cloud doesn't play a role basically. Specifically where you need to have a common storage, you will find cloud there.
Sir, can you explain cloud computing for a noob guy or a layman? What is that?
Cloud computing, I would say, let us now go to the layman's stuff. Everybody has been into the uh, service apartments, right? Like I travel a lot for my business. Okay, so instead of buying a house everywhere, I will buy a service apartment most of the places basically. So I will go, I will stay for 4 days, I will do my job, and then come back. So cloud computing is like your hotel or your service apartment, where I will use some of my resources will be deployed on those hotels or those service apartments, where I'll stay for some time. I'll use the resources of that and then come back. So I don't need to be permanently stationed in a hotel or a restaurant. That's how I would explain the very common one of an cloud computing. I don't need to buy houses every place that I going. I will stay in a hotel. I'll do my job and come back. So for me, those kind of service apartments becomes an cloud from people who are traveling a lot.
So do you think the traditional data centers which are present will be replaced by virtual private network and all those things?
No, I don't think so. Because finally you need space, you need servers, you need storage, you need network. You will need physical infrastructure anyway will be required. So I think data center is the largest growing in India right now. If you see the globally, I think one of the first five top industry, which is data center industry is going is India. Even if you see in India, you have a huge data centers coming up. You have MNC data centers setting up offices and buying data center spaces in India. So no, I don't think so. Because finally you need to have those physical data to be stored somewhere else. So data center business will not go out of business for sure.
So let's move to the third question. Third question is,
Sure.
so what is the primary purpose of a firewall in a computer network? Okay, firewall. So first option is block unauthorized access. Second, backup data. Third, encrypt sensitive information. And fourth, monitor networking traffic.
Is the first one. Block unwanted traffic first.
Yeah. So sir, like I had a question. You are in this storage business, edge cloud computing storage. So how do you deal with the cybersecurity stuff?
That has grown huge. I think our cybersecurity forms a major part of our planning basically because see, one of the major structure for us is the availability of the data. I have to make sure the data is available. As a storage, what is my fundamental aim for any organization is that first of all is that I have to make sure the data is available. So, of course, cybersecurity cannot be a single stop solution. It has to be a multi-layered approach. I cannot have one firewall and take care of it, but I have to have a lot of other things. But what we do in storage is we use uh, we what we make sure is that there's something known as virtual locks that we have in our storage. So you have a particular set of data which I can keep it locked. So no one reads and writes that data. So there's no cyber crime that happens on that data. It's only accessible to a specific people, specific number of people, specific about number of people in the organization, but not to everyone. So even if the ransomware attack happens, that set of data will not be affected. But cybersecurity cannot be an only a storage-led business or storage-led. It has to be multi-layer. There is so many SOPs on that. There's so many what do you call it layers to be done. As I told earlier, there has to be a firewall. There's intrusion detection. There has to be encryption. There has to be an access control. So many things that come together to form cybersecurity. Encrypt the data on rest. I can keep the data locked. I can form immutable copies of the data. So those kind of steps that I can do on cybersecurity. But yes, as I told earlier, it cannot be a one-stop process. It has to be somebody needs to sit and think over it as an organization because there is cannot be because a lot of this cybersecurity, the major problem is the backdoor entries that also needs to be taken care of. So,
Let's move towards the fourth question.
okay, and
Yeah. So what percentage of IT companies have adopted green IT practices as of 2020? First option is 20%, second 15%, third 60%, and fourth 95%. What will-
no, the numbers would be lower. I'm not sure, but I would go with 20%.
Why do you think that's it?
See, it's a concept that has come in last 2-3 years again. Sustainability and green energy that we call it basically. So I don't think it's an easy thing to do. It has to be, as I told you, it's a lot of thought process needs to be done. A lot of strategy needs to be changed. I cannot overnight turn my company to an IT green company or a sustainable component company. Um, so many thought process, so many uh, decisions to be taken, so many things to be changed. So that's how it is coming on to about 20% or 16% kind of thing. But it will grow. I mean, next 5 years, the possibility of it going is very high. Even in HP, we have introduced the sustainability. So when I sell a product today, how many people ask me that how many components of your product is sustainable? Maybe not even 20%. So those information, those knowledge has really not gone to most of the organization. Yes, there are some organizations, of course. Those some of organizations which are the leader of the pack normally, they started asking those questions. So today, when a proposal goes from my side, I have to include the green energy practices that I use. I also do a slide on my sustainability of my products. But it's too early. It's too early. So I think it will take some time. I hope it takes time. I hope it takes very fast, next 2-3 years. But practically, I think it will like 5 to 10 years kind of thing for the green practice.
सर आप इसको थोड़ा ज़्यादा एक्सप्लेन कर सकते हैं क्या? होता क्या है अभी? क्या ग्रीन आईटी प्रैक्टिसेस हो सकता है? क्योंकि जब भी मैं पहली बार इसको सोचूँ, आई वाज़ नॉट एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड दैट. क्या उस पे?
When you spend 100 rupees on an in data center, what is the biggest cost? It is electricity. So, if I get my facts right, I think 40 to 60% cost of the IDC is the electricity. So if I can convert my source of energy to from the current hybrid kind of thing to maybe a green energy like an renewable energy or a nuclear energy or a thermal energy, if I'm sure about what is my source of energy, I think that can change a lot. Even if we do the electricity part of it right, I think the percentage that you spoke about will go very high. Second comes into the cooling part of it, of the data center. So we use these gases to pheron or the argon gases are used out make the temperature lower. So can we use water? Cold water? You right? No, there are technology used in when the servers that we sell, we have the liquid cooling system right now. So as I told, it's very come to the it is very initial stage of it. I think the percentage will grow with. I mean, in fact, HP has about last 2 years, we have this practice where we talk about sustainability of my products. I talk about green energy of my product. What is the percentage that green energy has been used to manufacture my product? So I think this practice will catch up in a very long way. You know,
Let's move towards the fifth question. What do you think is the country which has the highest average work-life balance? Work-life balance uh, for tech employees in the last year, 21.
or okay,
Like normal work-life balance for tech employees. First option is Germany, second India, third Pakistan, and fourth Sri Lanka.
I would go with the work-life balance would be better in Germany, I guess. I don't know. I'm just it's a long shot basically, but Germany.
Yeah. Why do you think it would be like that? Like, why didn't you choose India or maybe Sri Lanka?
If you talk about my life is the busiest from Monday to Friday. It goes beyond 8 hours. It's a normal 8 hours. It's go beyond because it's natural. It's normal. It's normal for me to work beyond 8 hours. But I think in developed countries, I think there is a sense of balance. There's a sense of balance has already come in. I think we are there. I don't say every day I work more than 8 hours. I'm saying the average would be about 8 to 10 hours. What a work culture would be right now. Yes. Having said that, in what organization I work right now, the work-life balance forms a very important part of my life. But I think I'm just talking about in space of everyone. Is that typically I think the work-life balance would be now skewed towards working very much on Monday to Fridays. It's that. But I think as the processes go ahead, as the time goes ahead, I think India also will have the work-life balance going ahead. Uh, right now, I don't think we have a great work-life balance. I think my Saturday, Sundays are quite free, but Monday to Friday is quite hectic for me. It's about 8 to 10 hours at the hours. So I think we will get the, I'm sure next 10-15 years we should be there.
Either way, the answer was correct, sir. Yeah, basically, So basically, you have one. Okay,
Yes.
so let's now understand more about you, sir. So I saw your LinkedIn profile, and it was very obvious. Like, you worked in Oracle, you worked in so many companies as well. So what was the first thing which came to your mind when you started your journey? Did you think that you will work in this sector?
Absolutely not. See, it's when I came into the job market as such, IT industry was the sunrise industry. I mean, today I think we are plateaued off as an industry because now the growth is much, but at that time the growth was very high. So it was quite natural that a lot of people went into IT. I went into the sales side of it because I somehow felt that my expertise or my leniency is towards sales and marketing. But it took me 7, 8 years to really get the grip of what exactly I want. How do I mean, 7, 8 years, I think is a typical struggle year for most of the people. I think even for you, it might be less than 7 or 8 years, but it will be a struggle. The initial years are struggle basically. But I started enjoying my job after 7, 8 years of my doing sales. Uh, and that uh, was really, today I enjoy sales. I talk about the product, I talk about how I can move to a difference to an organization, so my products can do a different to the organization. That's what I love doing it. But maybe when I began this, um, it wasn't 50-50 kind of job that I will get it to sales. I would have got into pre-sales also, but then I started enjoying this. So this is where I am. And this is my uh, an advice, or you can take it as a friendly 7, 8 years of your career, initial career will be tough because you come from an engineering background and a BA, but then gelling into an organization will take time. Gelling into an culture will take time. There's so many things to take care of. Plus, your performance has to be there. Sales is a very brutal master, basically. You have to perform in 6 months or 3 months, depends on the organization. Yes. And you have to keep doing that quarter on quarter, year on year. So that is a kind of performance driven environment that was there. Uh, yeah, as I told earlier, I think 7, 8 years is difficult. What I think today, I could say that yes, I enjoy a lot doing it, but it's a process that I think everybody has to.
सर एक्चुअली अभी जो आई गेस मी के आसपास में हमें इंटर्नशिप कर सो मेनी ऑफ माय फ्रेंड्स विल गो इनटू समर इंटर्नशिप्स सो इट विल बी अराउंड 2 or 3 months. व्हाट डू यू थिंक लाइक व्हाट कैन दे लर्न इन दोज इंटर्नशिप्स लाइक क्या ऐसा कुछ है जो वो नोट करे ताकि वो फ्यूचर में वो याद करे वो चीज़ों से सीखे.
Keep yourself very open to the 2 months that you have. Keep your eyes and ears open. You learn a lot of things. You understand. You observe a lot of things. Try to understand your role better. Try to get a mentor. Try to get a person who would spend time with you in the organization. So, because 2 months is a very short time for you to understand or to do whatever it takes, whatever you are supposed to. But try to get exactly what you are supposed to do. That's first part of it. See, because you will be asked to do something for 2 months, but a lot of things has to be around that job. So you will suppose you are supposed to do a particular project with you once. If you think there's a technical profile of your job, but just don't stick to the technical profile only. Spend time, spend time with the people around to understand how does it work, what does it do, uh, how does the finance take make sure that this project is funded properly. How it does that? It's a process. It's technical. It might be only the final 30-40% of what you're doing. Try to understand the organization. I know it's too small a time. I think anybody who joins my team as an MT takes about 6 months to understand what's going on. Uh, huh. What are I keep trying to spend some time with them, saying that how does it work? What does it do? What you do? How does it make a difference to the organization? It's very important, but it will take time because you have come from a lot of theoretical experience, uh, what you learned in college, and suddenly you are thrown into an segment in which you have to learn so much. So try to absorb, try to be a sponge, a sponge, when it starts absorbing, it becomes heavier, right? So keep absorbing, keep looking, keep talking. Try to spend time with people who are around you. This. So just don't stick into, hey, this is what I have from A to B I'm supposed to do. Don't just stick into A to B. Try to get into the people who do much more than this organization, how much they have spent time, what they do, how does that work with in parallel to your work. So there are a lot of things that you need to do. I would love to go into this detail, but I think keep your ears and eyes open and try to speak to people this what you do. So the what you're asked to do may not be exactly what you want to do in life, but that doesn't mean that you should not use those 2 months and to absorb and learn what you can.
भी आपने इतना सारा कम्युनिकेशन के बारे में बताया ना कि वी शुड कम्युनिकेट विद
Yeah,
एवरीवन, वी शुड बी ओपन.
absolutely.
So can you tell me something like how should we improve communication, and why is it so much important for only communication? If I go and just do my work, for example, then
No.
why is it bad?
Not bad, because see, it's like one small wheel turning in a large. If you see how the clock works, a lot of dials inside. There's one dial, once the dial moves, the second one moves, the third one moves, the fourth one moves. Correct. So you know you are working in a team. And let us get into that. There's no right now when you get into in an internship or in job, you are a part of your team. With the team doesn't work independent. It works with a lot of people put together. I know you're supposed to do X, Y, Z. Yes, you do X, Y, Z to the best of your ability. That's my first advice. But at the same time, how much does the X, Y, Z contribute to the ABC of the organization also is very. And there is no straight path. It will be a crisscross path. There will be a lot of overlays of the curve. So try to understand how the whole thing works. So maybe what you do today and what you do tomorrow might be different. But if you understand how it does, how does it affect the whole environment? Well, I think you guys do much better than what you are today. Second, communication skill is an art that you need to learn. Communication is like two of them. One is the email, how you write an email. Also is very important because that's the way you communicate to a lot of people, right? You CCs to a lot of people. Yeah, even one-to-one, I'm saying. And second is a verbal communication. And maybe there are other things like non-verbal and those kind of things. That's something that you will work on. But two things that I can specifically spend some time, do some course or join an organization that conduct some courses of this is, it's very important. Communication skills. I myself on an email don't write an email more than 2 or 3 lines. So for me, that's if somebody puts a mail to me that's a 25 lines, I would rather read it later rather than reading. I mean, I myself don't read mails so 20 lines about stories. I would rather read a mail that is 3 or 4 lines. That's it. Makes a better sense for. But I think that's an art of learning writing those 3 or 4 lines on an email or the way you speak. Get me that book. I can be told it in 10 different ways.
Correct.
It can be pursued in 20 different ways. But how, if I say, Arnav, please come here, I can say that, Arnav, come here. Arnav, please come here. Arnav, can you come here? So, a lot of ways of doing this thing. And see, how you say is important. And how also important is how the other person perceives you. Also. He might think, "Arey, बहुत arrogant काम कर रहा है." You might have intended to speak to him nicely, but his perception is that you're speaking to me too. So that also is a part of your communication. So I think, as I told you again, every job that you do tomorrow will be a team job. You are a part of a team. So in a team, if 95% of people are working together and in the same way, it makes a difference. If 50% of the team is working in different ways, I think you will never enjoy the job. I enjoy a job today where the attitude, the vitality, the vision of all the team members are same. So working in that culture is totally different. I can tell you from experience. Or working for a team where half the team is doing something else, you are chasing something else. The environment is totally different. Also, the communication is important because of the culture that it creates when you work. So I think a lot of things become very, very prudent when it has a good communication. So I would say communication is one of the major art that you need to learn with. And generation Z or Alpha or Beta, everybody who works needs to have that communication.
Sir, in your career, what was the turning point?
Okay. Once you start getting consistency in your see, I am relating my job because my job was in sales. It might differ for people who will do a technical job or go into the R&D or going into something else. So I'll stick to my expertise. As I told you, it's a sales job, right? I need to perform every month, every quarter, every year, year on year. It has to be consistent. So I used to like I have a very good Q1, very bad Q2, and decent Q3 and a very good Q4. So, it was a typical kind of thing. This used to happen. This happens in today also it happens. But what I found was when I start becoming consistent in my delivery, when I become more predictable in my delivery, I think the outlook changes. The insecurity reduces. Today also I have a very good Q1. I have a flat Q2. I have an excellent Q3. But today I know that I will not be judged only by one quarter or second quarter. My consistency matter. I mean, I have about say 20 million to be done this quarter. $20 million. So I know the end of the year is $80, $80 million ahead. I might have pluses and minuses, but now I enjoy it because now I understand the ebbs and flows of the sales phase. So once you understand that the consistency is going to matter, or if you are going to be consistent, the organization for it matters a lot. I think you start enjoying your job and what you do is. I hope I've explained it. But uh, consistency and discipline once gets into see it took 7 or 8 years to get me there when I started enjoying my job. There are two things that got into my work style was consistency and discipline. Once that comes to your profile now, I think then you start enjoying it.
Yeah. Sir, the next question. So, actually, I have asked you this and you have answered it to me before, but I would like the audience to know about this as well.
Okay.
So, once I asked you, when you deal with a failure, how do you react to it? What happens after that? So, can you explain that?
The failure na, is not you don't fail. I mean, I hope I can explain it. We had a good conversation. I remember about uh, failure. Na, so okay, now I did not do my numbers for this quarter, and I know I have a better quarter up ahead. I don't treat failure as my personal failure. It's like it's a part of the journey. So I cannot hold failure saying that मैं मेरा number नहीं हुआ है यार मेरा कुछ होने वाला नहीं रहा है and I get into a depression. What I will say that yes, it has happened, but I know I can do better. This is not what I am. This is not what I normally do. I can do better. I can do it. So uh, failure cannot be an what do you call it? It's a chapter in your book. It cannot be the book. It's a journey. It's a part of your journey. So, one of the chapters that you have is where you failed, but it cannot be the entire book. That's all. So for me, failure today is it's like a part of my journey. It's never the mind.
So, just two questions back, we discussed about discipline. You told that discipline and consistency are very important. Like,
Yeah.
and that changed and that was your turning point. So, honestly speaking, like in engineering, when our exams are close, the day before we start studying, right? So, like, what do you think? What will you tell the engineering students? Like, what should they do and why shouldn't they do that? Like, yeah.
I know. See, I also did the same thing. So that's what comes with experience. As you go experience, I think everybody's dad and mom would have told you this. अरे पहले से पढ़ाई करो, last से पढ़ाई मत करो. It has to be consistent. But I think you understand the importance as you put some experience to your life. As you spend some more time with, you're what, like, you're 21, 22 today. It will take some time. I mean, good advices take time for you to understand. I think I did the same thing. But I was in college, last 1 or 2 weeks I study. अरे छोट निकल जाए. I don't think I can advise anything that I have not done myself. But yes, it's as you age, as you get experience, you try to understand that now you're getting more disciplined. You understand if I do X thing at a particular time, right place, right time, it gives me more dividend. If I don't do the right things at the right time, the dividend is very low. So you come with experience. Uh, as I tell you now, as I tell my kid also, Tanmay also I tell, he, uh, we have been blessed with our blessed with one thing is that I can do a lot of hard work today. It's something like discipline will help you to understand that the dividend of that particular actions that you do, the dividend is very high. And it comes with experience.
So, what are the skills that should be actually learned by us? Like, we discussed about discipline, consistency, but there may be some skills, right? Like, you are working
Yeah.
on HP. What are the skills? Not only technical skills. I'm asking about soft skills as well. So, what are the top skills which you think like if that those skills are there in one, you will take him in your team?
One thing in me, my team is the technical expertise plays a very important role because I'm a techno-commercial job right now. But attitude matters, confidence matters, presentation skills matter, and oration matters. Still, out of this, maybe presentation skills can be learned. You spend a lot of time in front of a mirror, you have a content with you go through it, try to put a story to it, you will learn it. Orations also same thing. You can put practice, you can put a lot of efforts to learn it. But the attitude and confidence is a part of how much knowledge you have and how much you can exhibit your knowledge. So if you have the right, as I told you, right technical skills, you have the presentation skills, you can communicate. I think your attitude and confidence, it's a reflection of all this. So if you have all these three things or four things, you can be a confident person and you can be a very good attitude. Attitude is not, as I say, it's not just coming and saying, "Yeah, I can do this." No, but Taban style and everything. Attitude is easy to have. He should know how to face success. He should also face failure also. Because in my profile or my job, success and you lose a quarter, you have a very good quarter. The confidence and attitude should not change. So I would say attitude and confidence is something that I would definitely look at for any candidate that
अभी एक्चुअली अभी जॉब में जाएँगे, इतने सारे लोग जाएँगे तो अभी वो वाले इंटरव्यू में जब भी इंटरव्यू रूम में जस्ट अंदर गए एंड फॉर एग्ज़ाम्पल लाइक 12th फेल मूवी अगर वो बहुत ही सब बॉम्बार्ड कर रहे हैं क्वेश्चन से और आपको नर्वस कर रहे हैं, तो हमें एक चीज़ तो पता है हमें शांत रहना है और आंसर करना है, पर एक्चुअली जो हमारे मन में चल रहा है कुछ और ही होता है। सो व्हाट विल यू एडवाइस अस कि हमें हर एक सिचुएशन में इंटरव्यूज़ के लिए क्या करना चाहिए? आपके जो
interviews,
एक्सपीरियंस
first of all, interviews have eye contact with the interviewer. You have to look into the eye of the interviewer because that's where uh, it's a reflection of your confidence. If you're fidgeting around, you're not trying to avoid this gaze of the interviewer. It's a sign of non-confidence, the sign that he is trying to hide something. He's not very confident. You have to have confidence and attitude. And if you are not able to have an eye contact, um, try to. What are the common questions that you get during interview? Tell me about yourself. It's a very simple question. How much of effort have you done to answer this question? You should have an answer that is not more than 4 minutes, 3 minutes. You should be concise in your delivery. You should be concise. I normally put this question because I know the moment the person reacts to this question also makes a lot of somebody start very general. I say you, मैं ये हूँ, मैं हूँ. But I think you should practice this because there's a normal opening question of any interviewer. Tell me something about you. So I think you should practice that. I think you should try to practice most of the questions. There are two different rounds of interviews. One is a technical round, and one will be an uh, more of an generalized. like question. So when there's a technical round, of course, you will do your technical stuff. But when it is general round, there are a lot of questions that you ask. Is that how will you approach this situation? So it has to be try and have a answer that is already you have done some homework on. So that's one part of it. The second part of it is there are some tricky questions that they ask. What is your strong points? What are your weak points? So you have to be very careful with this answer. It's nothing to do with the interview. It's a question how you handle that. See, sales finally for me is an objection handling job basically. That's how I object. मैं गधा हूँ बोलने का भी इस तरह से प्यारे से बोलता है ना कि लगता है यार बहुत प्यारा गधा है. So it has to be that way. So you need to do so. I don't say you will be knowing each and every answer question that the interviewer asks, but I think you should do some okay. Try to read about that person, what he is, what has done. Today it's available for this information is available. If you know your interviewer, you can do some studies and some obvious questions. Tell me about yourself. Do some homework and go. It has to be concise. It has to be precise. Eye contact has to be there. Body language has to be there. The way you sit on your chair also is important. Okay. Can straight, back straight, bum straight, or sit up. You sit with your elbows on your table. So try to have some kind of mental idea about what you're going to do. So first of all, you would have to be confident. I mean, I think a lot of interviews happen in the first 15 minutes. 15, 20 minutes. You will normally take the decision that yes, ye bande ko aage karna hai नहीं करना. So it's very important. The first 15 minutes will be important. I don't have a definite answer for this because I don't know who is going to ask any questions to you. But yes, try to imagine that he's going to ask you or he or she is going to ask you this questions. Try to but be confident. Eye contact is very important. Body language has to, we can't just sulk on it. Just your shoulders should not droop. So those kind of things you should be ready. Nobody likes a non-confident person sitting on an interview chair. Very clear. Whatever role you are in.
जो अभी एक सेल्स का एक क्वेश्चन है आप टेक्नॉल की मैंने एक राज जमानी के एक पॉडकास्ट में सुना है कि वी शुड बी एबल टू सेल एनीथिंग ना तो जब भी कुछ भी सेल करते थे जब सेल करना चाहते हैं पॉडकास्ट सेल कर रहे हैं तो उनका एक ब्रांड है उसको सेल करना है तो वो 40-50 दिन लेते हैं वो लॉन्च करने से पहले एंड ही यूज्ड टू आस्क एवरी डे है ना हर 2 घंटे के बीच में वो आस्क खुद को करते थे हाउ वुड आई सेल दिस और वो आंसर करता था लाइक यूज्ड टू गिव अ गुड स्पीच ऑन दैट सो आप कैसे करते हो
Today it might be I know the customer, I know the setup, I know the environment to do it. But yes, before going into if I want to sell my HP product, I would rather try to get a lot of inputs about his infrastructure or how he does what he does. Not go with a very close mind, saying that कि मुझे यही बेचना है, वही बेचना है. Keep a very open mind. And what I try to do is try to work a lot of case studies. I don't try to get into more technical right from day one. Basically, I do a lot of case studies. Similar company like yours have done so and so thing. So normally try to have a leverage like that. It's the same company, the same kind of turnover and those kind of stuff. So basically, I do a bit of before I go to a meeting. Every meeting, if I go on a presentation, I do a lot of homework on what this company is, what it does, what might be the proper infrastructure that they have, and then do a fair presentation that the goes. But I do a lot of homework before I go. Every call, every meeting, there's a homework done. Even today.
It's practice
Yes, homework has to be done.
so my next question is what would you advise any 20-year person to become Deepak Puthran?
I think it's the easiest job. I think anybody can be there. Uh, but I think you need to, on a professional front, you need to hit that discipline and hit that consistency very. I think my organization values me because they know that Mr. Deepak Puthran will bring X amount of business in this year. Deepak and his team basically. So that consistency. And today, when we sit on the first day of the year, this X number is marked against me and my team. And I deliver that. Uh, because that's what my job is. Me and my team is. So I think you can reach my position if you have some basic discipline and your consistency. I think anybody can reach this. Anybody can.
What final advice will you give to our audience?
A bit open-ended kind of thing, but I would say try to enjoy. If you don't enjoy your job, it becomes mundane. If you don't enjoy your job, there's no way ever to. Otherwise, everything becomes difficult. If you so enjoy your job, what you're doing. Try to learn. Try to be better. I normally even today have a book in which I write. I learned this today. I learned this week this, which also helps. But you have to enjoy. अगर enjoy नहीं कर रहे हो, then you better have a better answer. You have a better position, better job tomorrow. But if you don't enjoy it, I think it becomes a very difficult proposition for you. Yeah.
मैंने अभी थोड़े वक्त पहले सुना कि बहुत मस्त था ये पॉडकास्ट। मतलब मैंने बहुत सारी चीजें नोट की है दोस्तों। मैं आपको नीचे भी पूरे सब चीजें दूंगा, नोट्स जो मैंने बनाया है ना। बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग चीजें हमने सीखी है और मुझे लगता है कि आपको भी अच्छा लगा पॉडकास्ट।
Yeah, absolutely. I've been in a lot of podcasting to perform a lot of technical presentations. This is the first time I'm having a very generic presentation, which I think I enjoyed a lot. Thanks. Thanks, Anna. I hope this was this way. I hope this was this is helpful. Basically, my effort was worth it. Basically.
How was the podcast, guys? Did you like it? Thank you for watching the whole video. Comment and tell me which lesson did you find interesting and what skill are you going to focus now?